Hey guys, welcome back. Lombard's Labyrinth. You're probably like, why is he wearing the exact same clothes, looking the exact same in all these videos? Because I'm recording like 6 at the exact same time today. These are the original 10. So if you don't know how to play the game, basically you're going to be exploring this dungeon labyrinth. You guys start at the top left corner and you got to get to the bottom right to discover the boss, and then you have to beat the boss. Along the way, you will come in contact with monsters. You have to fight the monsters, and then when you kill monsters, depending on the type, bronze, silver, gold, you get item chances. Then you get items like these that help your character get stronger. And basically you get to the boss, you fight it, and if you beat the boss, you win the game. How this works is your speed determines how many spaces you can move through the labyrinth when it's discovered, which basically means when there's tiles. Combat works based on speed also. So whoever has the faster speed attacks first. If there's ever a tie, monsters always go first because this game hates you. As you can see, at 7 speed, the only thing that outspeeds Hythala is a werewolf. So she will basically always attack first right away. So how that works is you roll a dice, a d6. Well, I guess 1, 2, 3, and 6 all deal 1, 2, 3, and 6 respectively. 4 and 5 means you miss. So how that works is you roll a dice, or you roll a 2. You take your attack stat, which she's got 4. You add 2 for your roll. You deal 6 damage. And if you add a sword or anything like that that increases your attack stat, you would add that on top of the roll. So imagine she rolled the 2 plus the 4 would be 6. You come over here, you run it to their HP. And if you dealt enough to kill it, which is 6 or less, which everything here dies except for the Phoenix. Actually, Dragon doesn't die. Dragon will only take 3 because it's half rounded down. If you roll a 4 or 5, you do absolutely no damage at all. You don't add sword, you don't add attack. It's like you completely whiffed your attack, and then they roll. And again, they take their attack stat and put it to your HP. They have the exact same rolls. 1, 2, 3, 6, add that number. 4 and 5 is a miss. So there's a lot of times you're rolling back and forth until someone dies, and it gets kind of funny when you're like, I just need to hit one more, and you keep rolling a 4, and the monster rolls a 4, and then you roll a 4 again, and they roll a 5, and it just turns never end, and then finally someone hits somebody. When you die, you go back to start. Every monster that you've killed respawns, yada, 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 whatever. That's the basic premise of the game. Now that you kind of have an idea of how the game works, let's go over abilities. Hythala is basically a glass cannon, 7 speed, so she's going to go first. She's going to hit pretty hard, but she does not live any hits realistically. Even with like armor of 5, which is the best possible, 6 HP is not a lot. She will most likely not survive because if you get crit, it's 6 plus attack. To compensate that, she has the ability regen. If she is defeated, she rolls a d6. If she rolls a 1, the fight starts completely over. As if like you just found the monster, you just walked in, all HP's reset, you recheck speed, and the fight starts again. And it constantly goes over and over. It's not one time, it's just every time you lose the fight, redo it. There's a chance of going infinite if you lose. The star means you can use it on a boss. So when she's fighting the boss, she can come back to life. Abilities are color-coded. I said this in a different video, but green is combat. Yellow down here is item-based. Orange is movement. And then blue over here is just general. So like it's something that doesn't really fit any of these. And then she's got the ability salvage. When she uses an item, it should say when she uses a one-time use item, because I started changing that up. She rolls a d6. If she rolls a 1 or 6, she gets the item back. So a good example of that is a mutton chop. It's a one-time use item to double discover, which means you're allowed to find a tile and then find another tile, and this goes away as if like you ate the food. So how this works though is she'll roll a d6. If she rolls a 1 or 6, she actually gets it back, and she can just keep going. As long as she keeps rolling 1 or 6, she can keep using the mutton. Same thing with the bait. You use it to skip a monster fight. You roll it, you might get it back. Magic elixir is just a 100% chance of her item, like her ability, to respawn. Ancient key, you open a chest, you get it back potentially. She's smart, witty, she uses her abilities well. She knows how to use the items and get them back. She's coming back for fights. She's very strong. Then you have Dolrak. Now, I'm going to just put this out here. If you are new to the game, do not pick a 1-speed character. There are 2 in the base game. There are 2. Dolrak and Raiden are 1-speed characters. The Viking and the Dwarf. Do not pick them if this is your first time playing the game. There is a chance you never leave this little 5x5 area, okay? There's a chance you never get farther than this area. I'm telling you, there's a chance. 1-speed characters become ungodly good as soon as they get any pair of boots. The moment you get a pair of boots, 1-speed characters become one of the strongest characters of the game. In the beginning of the game, they are so bad. I'm not even kidding you. So please just take that in consideration. To compensate the slow speed, he has 2 movement-based abilities. Dolrak has the ability Delve. He may use roadblocks, dead ends, whatever you want to call them, as if they were secret passage tiles. So he's allowed to jump from one dead end tile to another dead end tile at the cost of 0 movement on the board. He could just jump between them. And then he's got the ability Add It, which he's allowed to break a tile and still discover. While normal characters must waste a turn to break a tile, he may just break a tile and go. There are ways of getting items just straight up by discovering. It is an item tile. I don't know where it is here. There it is. If you discover this, you just straight up get an item. As long as the tile can be broken, he's allowed to break it and discover. So basically you break the tile and hope to God you pull an item tile or a monster or something you could fight. Fabian. I've seen this creep defeat a boss with 0 items. It was crazy lucky. The boss missed like twice, but he won with 0 items. So Fabian has 0 attack, 2 HP, 10 speed. He's got the ability Sleight of Hand. Sleight of Hand says he's allowed to reroll 1 ABD, which is attack bonus dice, which is your attack roll, once per turn. There is no star, cannot be used on a boss. It's literally just monsters. So if you roll like a 4 on your first roll, you're allowed to reroll 1 time, and you can't do that again until your next turn. Then he's got the ability Dual Wield, which he's allowed to hold 2 swords, 1 in place of a general item slot. So anyone that doesn't know, you have 6 item slots you can hold, 1 sword, 1 shield, 1 pair of boots, and 3 general, which is what Kythela could have, like the map, the bait, the elixir, all that stuff. So he gets to add 2 swords. Mythalion. This one is just wacky. I guess I should say how the game basically works. When you start the game, in the rules, you can change stuff if you want, play how you want, but you shuffle the characters and you hand out 2 to each player. You look at your characters, you pick one, and then you put them face down, and when everyone's ready, you flip your cards over and you show who you're playing. That matters because Mythalion's in the game, where it says, once all players have flipped over their starting champions, pick one of the other players' champions. You are now a copy of that character for the game. So there will be potentially 2 Fabians in the game, 2 Olafs, 2 Dolraks if you're crazy. So it allows for some wacky stuff. It allows you to have more options if you don't like the characters you had. Now you've got Grandmaster Olaf. He is the most neutral character of them all. He's 4/4/4. He's got the ability Levitation. At the start of Olaf's turn, he may rotate a tile, which means you're allowed to just take any tile on the board. You can turn it like it's a rotate, however you want. And then his movement drops to 2. So it's not 4 anymore. Doesn't matter if he's got boots. It will just go to 2. This matters because sometimes you can't make it through the dungeon, or like there's walls or rotate tiles, and he can turn them so he can make a better path for himself. Or we've had friends rotate tiles behind them, so people could not follow them and they had to waste turns or go around, so he had a better chance of getting the boss first. Kind of crazy. I never thought of that when we were making him, to be honest, so that was cool to see. Then he's got Clairvoyance. If Olaf pulls a monster tile for his discovery, he may put it back and he has to take the very next tile. Imagine late game, you got all your items, you're just trying to get to the boss, and you pull like a werewolf. And you're just like, oh my god, I don't want to fight this. So you chuck it back in the bag and you pull that straight tile that you need to get right to the boss. Well, that's like a perfect case scenario. The worst case scenario is I've pulled like a mole or a spider and I'm like, I don't want to fight that. So I've tossed back in and then I've pulled a dragon and I've died. He's very versatile and unique. Now you've got Sir Emmett, 6 attack, 4 HP, 2 speed. So to compensate the slow speed, he has the ability Swift Strike. So Swift Strike allows before combat, Sir Emmett may roll a d6. If he rolls a 1 or a 6, he may attack first. It does work on the boss. So basically, he doesn't have to waste extra stat points in speed. He just has a chance of going first. So those extra points get put into attack so he can deal more damage. HP, because if he gets some armor, he probably can survive a hit. And then Code of Honor is even when Sir Emmett is defeated, he may roll a d6. If he gets a 1, he gets an item. So even on the way down, he might still get something out of a fight. So he likes to just fight monsters over and over and over again, trying to get items, trying to roll first, trying to kill things, get better item odds. If he fails, he still gets a chance at an item, which is still really good. Ruck is an orc. He's got 4 attack, 6 HP, 2 speed. He's basically just the reverse of Sir Emmett. but he has the ability Ferocity, or when you fight a monster that's already discovered, your movement drops to 1, regardless of whatever it is. If it's 10 and you kill a monster, you get 1. If there's another monster after, you can fight 2 in a turn. If there's not, you fight 1, you move 1 space, whatever. Rook, on the other hand, has Ferocity, where he just wants to keep fighting. Every time he kills a defeated monster, he actually gets 3 speed instead of 1. So if there's enough monsters on the board in a perfect distance apart from the start to the boss, if he dies to the boss, next turn, he can run all the way back down if he can kill everything and fight the boss again that turn. It's happened more times than I can count, and it is very cool. He also has Adrenaline, which every time he defeats a gold monster, he gets +1 speed for the type of it is, so he can only get +3 because there's only a dragon, a werewolf, and a phoenix, so if he kills all 3, it's +3 speed until his next death, so he's got a chance of going up to +5, which is really good, like I said, for a slow speed character. Yukimura, again, this is early art, we're fixing up a little bit, but this is pretty much what he's going to look like. Let me know what you guys think of Yukimura. I really like him. Yukimura is really interesting. So while every character has 12 points for their stats, he only has 8. And this matters because while he has 0 attack, 4 and 4, he actually rolls 2d6. And instead of when he rolls a 4 or 5, it misses, it actually just deals 0. So if you roll a 4 and a 1, Yukimura deals 1 damage. And this basically means that if Yukimura ever gets a sword, you will always deal the sword's damage. So if you outspeed a monster and the monster has 1 HP and you have a sword of +1, you don't even need to roll. He's just a guaranteed hit. And I think that's really cool for Samurai. Eventually he becomes instant damage. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really cool. And then Counter is the ability that's been changed a lot, but it's another combat ability. It says if the enemy misses, Yukimura deals 1 damage to it. So again, if it's a 1 HP and you miss and then they miss, they just die. So eventually that ability kind of becomes useless if you have a weapon, but it's pretty cool to start. Raiden is a Viking. He's got the 5 attack, 6 HP, 1 speed. This is the last 1 speed. Just don't play it if you're new. Please, just trust me. He's got double discover. So Raiden may discover a second time each turn if he has 0 speed left. So regardless of speed, he's allowed to discover twice per turn. So this is really good because you're discovering 2 tiles, so you're finding more monsters to fight, you're finding items, things like that. He should be able to survive early against monster fights, but if he ever dies and you have to re-go through all those tiles, you're having a bad time. But again, if you ever get boots, he's so strong. Then he's got the ability Moxie, which the pitfalls, which send you back to start without dying, he does not go back to start, he ignores them, and tar pits, he does not skip his turn. So he gets to just keep powering through the map, the dungeon, and getting to the boss. He does not stop. Next, you've got Asher of the Guild. She is the assassin in the game. She's got 3 attack, 2 HP, 7 speed, another fast character. She has the ability Sneak Attack. Upon discovering a monster, roll a d6. If she rolls a 1 or a 6, instantly defeats it. That means Phoenix, there is no respawning. Dragon, there is no half damage. This matters because you're not pulling tiles that often. So if you get lucky with pulling a monster and you kill it instantly, great. You just take the item chance. You got lucky. Next is Sneak Strike. Asher may go through a wall to attack a monster once per turn. So this is really good because sometimes there'll be walls blocking you with rotate tiles, things like that, next to a monster, and you have to keep jumping back and forth and wasting speed. She can just hop through, and it allows her to kind of get through and do some fights and apply if there's certain scenarios, which is just really interesting. And the last thing is just turn order. How this works is the slowest character goes first. It kind of helps out the slow characters because the fast characters have an initial advantage, but as soon as items come into play, slow characters become better late game. And I think that's really interesting that the game can do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk about the characters. They're really interesting, honestly. And yeah, play some games, test them out, see what you guys think. Let me know down below who's your favorite character. If you don't play, let me know who your favorite character is. Again, this is just AI art for now. Kathela's actual art. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the 10 characters for Lombard's Labyrinth. They're the champions. They are the ones that are going to save the world. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace.